WSTKS-FM Worldwide, digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Week 8 of the course. It's Professor Schwartz yet again, along with my feline friend Onyx the cat, at present chowing down over at the food bowl without a care in the world. Let's begin today's program with a question. Have you become a liability to your student learning team? Now, I can hear you asking, but what do you mean, Professor Schwartz? Well, to speak very plainly for a moment, have you somehow inconvenienced the members of your student learning team by dropping the collaborative ball in some way? With that same query in mind, let's look today at how to avoid alienating the other members of your learning team in 4 easy steps. We'll get started right after a quick musical break. Welcome back, everyone. Okay, the first way to avoid annoying and alienating the other members of your team is to avoid disappearing for days at a time without a word to anyone else, especially in view of the weekly collaboration and 3 team projects that are major expectations for this IAH course. Effective and cohesive team building is all about establishing and maintaining trust between team members. And one of the ways you do that is through routine and conscientious engagement with the people who comprise your team and your related collaborative activities. When a team member becomes missing in action, on the other hand, it not only interferes with getting things accomplished at the team level, but sudden disappearances by team members also impede both team and trust building in the process. So you want to make sure to remain part of your team discussions and activities as a routine rather than dropping in or out at whim for days at a time or showing up to team meetings completely unprepared for discussion or planning. On a closely related note, avoid lack of or infrequent communication with the rest of your student learning team. Never bothering to attend team meetings, contribute to team discussions, or project planning sessions will quickly alienate the other students on your team, something you don't want to do if at all possible. Listen. Any collaborative endeavor is easier to carry out when there is frequent communication between the 4 or 5 people who make up your team. Now, that's not to suggest that you need to be in touch with each other every waking moment, or share the details of what sort of breakfast cereal you enjoy most. But if you are going to be away from campus for longer than a couple of days, it's considerate to let your teammates know ahead of time that you'll be traveling and that there might be brief delays in your replies to team communications or related delivery of work. A bit of forethought, planning, and communication goes a long way toward heading off potential difficulties within your team. Here's a third way to avoid alienating the other members of your learning team. Ready? Avoid leaving your teammates hanging in limbo, waiting for you to finish your part of a project. That's neither an effective nor an efficient collaborative habit. Too busy, you say? Okay, we get it. You're pulled in 10 different directions at once and can't bother to get your contribution to a team project finished, even though that's what you said you would do 2 weeks ago. But you know what? We're all busy and pressed for time. And here's a secret. That's not a feature of life unique to our student years. On the contrary, life only gets busier and more complicated after graduation, when the pressures of the real world encroach even more upon our already limited time. So do your best to make good on the promises made to your team members and deliver your contributions to the overall effort well ahead of any looming due dates, regardless of any travel plans or other commitments. Remember, collaboration at its most effective is an ongoing, democratic, and mutually supportive process in which all team members should be involved from start to finish. WSTKS-FM Worldwide, digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. If you find this podcast helpful, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. The fourth and final way you can avoid alienating the rest of your student learning team is to remain accountable for your choices, words, and actions. Accept responsibility if you drop the ball with anything. Handle the situation like an adult, in other words, with a bit of humility and contrition rather than arguing or shifting the blame to someone or something else. It's far more productive from a collaborative point of view to own up to any mistakes that you might make and move forward. Calm yet frank discussion and compromise are necessary from both sides in this type of situation, but it's safe to say that you have to find some common ground with the rest of your student learning team so that all of you can continue your collaboration in a more productive way. It might be wise for all members to revisit your list of core team values and your team contract from week 3 at this point in the course to help your learning team reset. And that will almost do it for today's program, everyone. Let's quickly recap the 4 ways you can avoid alienating the other members of your student learning team. First, avoid disappearing without a word to anyone. Second, avoid infrequent or non-existent communication with your teammates. Third, avoid making your teammates wait for your contribution to overall collaborative efforts. And fourth, avoid argument and blame shifting if you make a mistake. Make these practices part of your weekly routine, and you too can avoid alienating the rest of your student learning team. Tune in again for additional tips, tricks, and advice based on my almost 30 years of teaching and working with thousands of undergraduates at 3 Big Ten universities, 2 liberal arts schools, and 2 community colleges across the upper Midwest of the United States. In the meantime, thank you for joining me today. I'll see you in class, online, or during Zoom office hours if you drop by with a question. Stay healthy, have a safe and a productive week. With special regards from Onyx, the cat what am. So long, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now. You've just heard a podcast from WSTKS-FM Worldwide, digital collaborative learning for the 21st century.